He was the coldest CEO in New York, and he hadn't cried in 15 years. Until a 5-year-old boy sat beside him on a park bench and said 7 words that broke him completely. "Don't cry, mister. You can borrow my mom." This is the story of how a little boy's innocent offer changed 3 lives forever. Alexander Mercer didn't believe in weakness. Weakness was for people who couldn't control their emotions, their circumstances, their lives. For 33 years he'd controlled everything. Until today. He sat on a park bench in Central Park, still wearing the suit from his father's funeral, and felt the world crumbling around him. The service had been 3 hours ago. Hundreds of people had attended, business associates and politicians and society figures who'd praised Richard Mercer's legacy, while barely hiding their relief that the old shark was finally gone. Alex had stood at the front, delivered a eulogy that was more business report than goodbye, and shaken hands until his palm ached. No one had hugged him. No one had asked if he was okay. No one had treated him like a son who'd just lost his father. Because Richard Mercer had never treated him like a son either. Alex had tried so hard. His entire life he'd tried. Top of his class at prep school. Valedictorian at Harvard. MBA before he turned 25. He'd built Mercer Financial into a powerhouse, doubled the company's value, made his father richer than he'd ever been. And Richard's last words to him, gasped from a hospital bed 3 days ago, had been, "Don't screw this up." Not, "I love you." Not, "I'm proud of you." Not even goodbye. Just another warning that Alex would never be good enough. Something hot and wet slid down his cheek. Alex touched it, confused. He hadn't cried since he was 18, since the day his mother left and his father told him that tears were a sign of weakness, that real men controlled themselves. But here, alone on this bench, surrounded by strangers who didn't know or care who he was, the tears came anyway. He pressed the heels of his hands against his eyes, trying to stop it, trying to regain control. He was Alexander Mercer. He didn't break down in public. He didn't break down at all. "Hey, mister?" The voice was small and curious. Alex looked up to find a little boy standing in front of him, maybe 5 years old, with messy honey blonde hair and big brown eyes. He was holding a plastic dinosaur in one hand and studying Alex with the unfiltered intensity that only children possessed. "What?" Alex's voice came out rough. The boy tilted his head. "Are you crying?" "No, your eyes are leaking. That's what my mom calls it when I'm not crying but tears come out anyway." The boy climbed onto the bench beside him, completely uninvited. "Did someone hurt you?" "No, I'm fine. You don't look fine." The boy held up his dinosaur. "This is Rex. He makes me feel better when I'm sad. You can hold him if you want." Alex stared at the offered toy. Something in his chest tightened painfully. "I don't need. My daddy made me sad once." The boy continued as if Alex hadn't spoken. "He went away and didn't come back. Mom said he wasn't ready to be a daddy, which doesn't make sense because I'm right here, so I'm very easy to be ready for." Despite everything, Alex felt the corner of his mouth twitch. "But Mom says we don't need him because we have each other. And Aunt Jade. And Rex." The boy patted the dinosaur fondly. "Do you have anyone, mister?" The question hit harder than it should have. Did he have anyone? He had employees who feared him, board members who tolerated him, a mother who'd left when he was a teenager and never looked back. "Not really," Alex heard himself say. The boy's eyes went wide with horror. "No one? No one. That's the saddest thing I ever heard." The boy was quiet for a moment, thinking hard. Then his face brightened. "I know. You can borrow my mom." "What?" "My mom gives the best hugs and she always knows what to say when I'm sad and she makes really good grilled cheese." He nodded seriously. "Everyone needs a mom sometimes." You can share mine. Alex couldn't speak. This ridiculous child with his plastic dinosaur and his matter-of-fact generosity had done something no one else could do. He'd cracked open something Alex had kept locked away for 15 years. "Ollie!" A woman's voice, panicked and breathless. Alex looked up to see her running toward them, honey blonde hair flying behind her, paint-stained jeans, terror written across her face. "Oliver James Harper, I told you to stay by the swings." She reached them, grabbing the boy's hands, her eyes darting to Alex with obvious suspicion. "Are you okay? Did this man hurt you?" "Mom, no." Ollie looked offended. "I was helping him. He was crying and he doesn't have anyone, so I said he could borrow you." The woman's expression shifted from fear to confusion to something Alex couldn't identify. She looked at him, really looked, and he knew what she must see. A man in a funeral suit with red-rimmed eyes, sitting alone on a park bench on a Tuesday afternoon. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice softening. "My son has no boundaries. He talks to everyone. He was very kind." Alex's voice was rough. "You should be proud." She studied him for a long moment, those hazel eyes seeing too much. Then she did something that surprised him. She sat down on the bench. "I'm Lily," she said, "and I'm sorry for your loss." Alex blinked. "How did you know? The suit, the flowers on your lapel, the look in your eyes." She gave him a gentle smile. "I lost my father when I was 22. I know what grief looks like." Ollie climbed into his mother's lap, but kept looking at Alex. "See, Mom? He needs help." "I don't need," Alex started, the automatic denial on his lips. "Everyone needs help sometimes," Lily interrupted softly. "Even people who think they don't." She pulled a pack of tissues from her bag and held one out to him. "It's not weakness to feel things, you know. It's being human." Alex took the tissue. He didn't use it, but he took it. And for reasons he couldn't explain, he didn't leave. Lily Harper had never been good at walking away from people in pain. It was what made her a good teacher, Jade always said. It was also what had gotten her into trouble more than once. She collected broken things, tried to fix them, got her heart trampled when they couldn't be fixed. But there was something about this man, this stranger in his expensive suit with his shattered eyes, that made her stay on that park bench long after she should have taken Ollie home. They talked. She didn't know how it happened. One moment she was offering tissues, and the next she was telling him about her father's death, about the way grief came in waves, about how she still sometimes reached for the phone to call him before remembering he was gone. He listened. That was what surprised her. Men like him, men in suits that cost more than her monthly rent, didn't usually listen to women like her. But Alexander Mercer, as he eventually introduced himself, seemed almost desperate to hear about a father who had loved his daughter. "He sounds like a good man," Alex said quietly. "He was the best." Lily smiled at the memory. "He taught me to paint, to see beauty in unexpected places, to believe that everyone deserves kindness, even when they don't ask for it." Ollie had fallen asleep against her shoulder, Rex still clutched in his hand. Alex's eyes kept drifting to the boy, an expression on his face that Lily couldn't quite read. "Your son?" he said. "He's remarkable. He's a handful. But, yes, he's my whole world." "You're raising him alone?" "His father left before he was born. Said he wasn't ready for the responsibility." Lily kept her voice light, though the wound still ached sometimes. "But we do okay. I teach art at an elementary school, do freelance illustration on the side. We have a tiny apartment and second-hand furniture and more paint than groceries most months. But we have each other. That's more than most people have." She looked at him, really looked. Behind the expensive suit and the commanding presence, she saw something fragile, something lonely, something that reminded her of the kids in her class who acted tough because they didn't know how else to survive. Richard Mercer. Hundreds of people attended. Hundreds of people who wanted something from him. Or from me, now that he's gone. Alex's laugh was bitter. Do you know what my father's last words to me were? Don't screw this up. Not I love you. Not goodbye. Just another reminder that I was never going to be enough. Lily's heart clenched. I'm sorry. Don't be. I'm used to it. That doesn't make it okay. She shifted Ollie in her arms, then made a decision that was probably stupid. Listen, I need to get this one home for dinner. But would you like to join us? It's just grilled cheese and tomato soup. Nothing fancy. But you shouldn't be alone tonight. Alex stared at her like she'd grown a second head. You're inviting me to dinner? You don't even know me. I know you're hurting. I know my son offered to share me with you, and he's an excellent judge of character. She smiled, and I know that grief is easier when you're not facing it alone. So what do you say, Alexander Mercer? Wanted to try the best grilled cheese in Brooklyn? He should say no. She could see him thinking it, see the walls going up, the automatic refusal forming on his lips. But then he looked at Ollie, still sleeping peacefully, and something in his face softened. I haven't had grilled cheese in 20 years, he said. Then you're definitely overdue. Her apartment was everything his penthouse wasn't. Small, cluttered, bursting with color. Ollie's artwork covered every wall, mixed with Lily's own paintings, a chaotic gallery of joy. The furniture was mismatched, but comfortable. The kitchen smelled like butter and memories. Alex stood in the middle of her living room, looking completely out of place in his $1,000 suit, and Lily felt a sudden urge to laugh at the absurdity of it all. Sorry about the mess, she said, clearing a stack of sketchbooks from a chair. We're not used to company. It's not a mess. Alex's voice was strange. It's a home. The word hung in the air between them. Home. Like it was something foreign. Something he'd never really had. Ollie woke up during dinner preparations and immediately appointed himself Alex's tour guide, dragging the CEO around the tiny apartment to show him important things. His collection of dinosaur figurines. His favorite books, the corner where his mom let him paint on the actual wall. This is my masterpiece, Ollie announced, pointing to a mess of handprints and swirls. Mom says it's worth $1 million, but we're not selling it. It's definitely worth at least $1 million, Alex agreed solemnly. Lily watched them from the kitchen, something warm spreading through her chest. This cold, broken man was different with her son. Patient, gentle, almost curious, as if he'd never encountered a child who wasn't afraid of him. They ate dinner at her tiny table, squeezed together on mismatched chairs, and somehow Alex Mercer, CEO of a billion-dollar company, ended up with tomato soup on his sleeve and crumbs on his tie and the first genuine smile Lily had seen on his face all day. This is, he said, looking at his half-finished grilled cheese, the best thing I've eaten in months. It's just bread and cheese. No. He met her eyes, and the intensity there made her breath catch. It's much more than that. After dinner, Ollie convinced Alex to read him a bedtime story. 3 bedtime stories, actually, because the boy kept finding reasons to stay awake. Lily stood in the doorway of her son's tiny room, watching this powerful man sit on a twin bed with dinosaur sheets, reading Where the Wild Things Are in a voice that was far too serious for the material. When Ollie finally fell asleep, Alex stood carefully, turning off the dinosaur nightlight and tiptoeing out with more care than Lily had ever seen from anyone except herself. Thank you, he said, once they were back in the living room. For tonight, for everything. I don't remember the last time I felt like this. Like what? Like I belonged somewhere. Lily's heart cracked open. Alex, I should go. He was already moving toward the door, walls going back up, the glimpse of vulnerability disappearing behind his usual mask. This was a mistake. I shouldn't have imposed on you. You didn't impose. I invited you. You were being kind. You don't owe me anything. I know I don't. She stepped closer, blocking his path to the door. But what if I want to? What if I think you're worth knowing, Alex Mercer, and not because of your money or your company? He went still. Why would you think that? Because my son offered to share me with you. And Ollie has never been wrong about people. She smiled. Come back. Tomorrow or the next day. Come see us again. Not because you need to, but because you want to. For a long moment, Alex said nothing. Then, slowly, he reached out and took her hand. His fingers were warm, his grip gentle. I want to, he admitted, like it cost him something. God help me, I want to. Lily squeezed his hand. Then, I'll see you tomorrow. He left. But when she watched him walk down the street from her window, she saw him look back. Once. Twice. And she knew, with a certainty she couldn't explain, that her life was about to change completely. Alex came back the next day, and the day after that. Within 2 weeks, it became a routine. He'd leave the office at 5 instead of 9, drive to Brooklyn instead of his empty penthouse, and spend his evenings in Lily's tiny, colorful world. He helped Ollie build elaborate dinosaur habitats from cardboard boxes. He learned to make grilled cheese that wasn't burned. He sat for hours in Lily's cramped studio space, watching her paint, mesmerized by the way she saw beauty in everything. You're different here, Lily told him one evening, as Ollie napped on the couch with Rex. Softer. Is that bad? It's wonderful. She set down her brush, turning to face him. The man I met in the park, the one everyone calls the Ice King of Wall Street, he's not really you, is he? He's who I had to become. Alex stared at his hands. My father believed emotion was weakness. Sentiment was foolish. The only thing that mattered was success. I spent my whole life trying to make him proud, and all I did was become him. You're not him. Lily crossed the room, sitting beside him on the paint-stained floor. You could never be him. How do you know? Because you're here. Because you read bedtime stories with different voices for each character. Because my son adores you and children can always tell. She reached up, touching his face gently. You have so much love in you, Alex. You've just been taught that showing it makes you weak. Lily. His voice was rough. It doesn't, she continued softly. Love is the bravest thing there is. Letting someone see you, really see you, that takes more courage than any business deal. He looked at her, this woman who'd upended everything he thought he knew about the world. Who'd invited him into her home when she had every reason to be suspicious? Who'd given him a glimpse of a life he hadn't known he wanted? I'm falling for you, he said. I don't know how to stop it. I'm not sure I want to. Lily's breath caught. Alex, I know I'm not what you need. I'm emotionally stunted and married to my work, and I don't know the first thing about being a real person. But when I'm with you and Ollie, I feel like maybe I could learn. You're already learning. She smiled, and it was like watching the sun rise. We both are. He kissed her then. Gentle at first, tentative, like he was afraid she'd disappear. But she kissed him back, her hands finding his shoulders, and it felt like coming home. They were still kissing when Ollie woke up. Finally, the boy shouted, making them both jump. I've been waiting forever for you to be kissing people. Lily buried her face in Alex's shoulder, laughing. How long have you been awake, you little monster? Long enough. Ollie climbed onto the couch, inserting himself between them with practiced ease. Does this mean Alex is staying forever now, like in the movies? Alex looked at Lily. She looked back at him. Something passed between them, unspoken but clear. I'd like to, Alex said. If you'll have me, yes. Ollie threw his arms around Alex's neck. Mom, say yes. Say yes right now. Lily reached out, cupping Alex's face in her hands. Yes, she whispered. 1,000 times yes. The next few weeks were the happiest of Alex's life. He met Jade, who threatened to kill him in creative ways if he hurt her best friend. He went to Ollie's school play and cheered louder than any other parent. He started leaving work at reasonable hours, started smiling at his employees, started becoming someone he actually liked. But happiness, as he should have known, never came without a price. His mother arrived on a Tuesday. Victoria Mercer swept into his office like a storm front, designer clothes and cold eyes, and the same disapproving expression she'd worn his entire childhood. Alexander, we need to talk. Mother, how? He kept his voice neutral. This is unexpected, is it? I hear you've been spending your evenings in Brooklyn with some artist and her child. The word artist dripped with disdain. Tell me it isn't true. Her name is Lily, and it's absolutely true. Victoria's lips thinned. You're making a fool of yourself. A Mercer doesn't date beneath his station. Your father would be horrified. Father is dead. And he was horrified by everything I did anyway. Alexander, I love her. Love her. The words came out fierce, certain. I love her and I love her son, and for the first time in my life, I actually want to wake up in the morning. So you can disapprove all you want. I don't care. Victoria studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled, and it was not a kind smile. We'll see how long that lasts, she said, when she realizes what being with you really means. She left, but her words echoed in Alex's mind long after she was gone. What being with him really meant. Lily found out what Victoria meant 3 days later. The paparazzi descended like locusts. Billionaires knew love. Who is the Brooklyn art teacher? The headlines screamed from every tabloid, her face plastered across gossip sites, her entire life dissected for public consumption. They found out about Ollie's father, the one who'd left. They found out about her student loans, her second-hand clothes, her tiny apartment. They photographed her at the grocery store, at Ollie's school, walking to work with paint on her jeans. And they were not kind. Gold digger or true love? One headline asked. Another, Mercer heir slums it with starving artist. The comments were worse. People she'd never met had opinions about her weight, her clothes, her worth as a human being. Ollie came home from school crying because another kid said his mom was on TV and not in a good way. Why are people being mean? He asked, his face buried in her shoulder. What did we do wrong? Nothing, baby. Lily held him tight, her own tears threatening. We didn't do anything wrong. Alex appeared at her door that evening, his face haggard. I'm so sorry, he said. I'll fix this. I'll make it stop. How? Lily's voice was sharper than she intended. How do you make an entire world stop caring about who you're dating? I don't know. But I'll figure it out. My son cried today. A child at school told him his mother was a gold digger. He's 5 years old, Alex. He doesn't even know what that means. Alex looked like she'd slapped him. Lily, please. I never wanted this. I know you didn't. But this is your life. This is what being with you means. She wrapped her arms around herself. I can handle it. I'm an adult. But Ollie can't. He's just a little boy who wanted to share his mom with a sad stranger in the park. What are you saying? I'm saying I don't know if I can do this. The words tore out of her. I love you. God, I love you so much it terrifies me. But I'm a mother first. And if being with you means my son gets hurt, she couldn't finish. Alex stood frozen in her doorway, his face crumbling. "Please," he whispered. "Please don't give up on us." "I'm not giving up. I'm being realistic. This is never going to stop, is it? The cameras, the gossip, the judgment. Your mother was right. I don't belong in your world. Then I'll leave my world. Alex stepped forward, grabbing her hands. "I'll sell the company. Walk away from all of it. I don't care about any of it, Lily. I only care about you and Ollie. You can't do that. Watch me. Watch me." "Alex, no." She pulled her hands back. "You've worked your entire life for that company. You can't throw it away for someone you've known 2 months. I can throw it away for the only two people who've ever made me feel like I matter." Lily's heart shattered. She saw the truth in his eyes, saw how much he meant it, and it only made everything hurt more. "I need time," she said. "Please, just give me time to think." Alex looked like she was killing him. But he nodded. "Take all the time you need," he said. "I'll be waiting." He left, and Lily sank to her kitchen floor and cried until there were no tears left. Ollie found her there an hour later, his dinosaur tucked under his arm. "Mom? Are you sad because of Alex?" She wiped her face, forcing a smile. "I'm okay, baby. You're not okay." Ollie sat beside her, leaning his small body against hers. "You're crying like Alex was crying at the park. Sometimes grown-ups get sad too. I know." He was quiet for a moment. "Mom? Do you love Alex?" "Yes, sweetheart. I do." "And he loves you?" "I think so." "Then, why are you crying?" "In the movies, when people love each other, they're happy." Lily laughed despite her tears. "It's complicated, baby. Aunt Jade says complicated is just a word grown-ups use when they're scared." Ollie looked up at her with those big brown eyes. "Are you scared, Mom?" "Out of the mouths of babes." "Yeah," she admitted. "I'm scared." "Of what?" "Of getting hurt. Of you getting hurt. Of wanting something so much and having it taken away." Ollie considered this with the solemnity only a 5-year-old could muster. Then he said, "At the park, Alex was scared too. That's why he was crying. But he stopped being scared when he came to have grilled cheese with us." "What's your point, little philosopher? Maybe scary things get less scary when you're not alone." He patted her arm. "Maybe you should stop being alone with Alex. Like how he stopped being alone with us." Lily stared at her son. This ridiculous, wonderful, too smart for his own good child who had somehow understood what she was missing. The paparazzi wouldn't go away. The headlines wouldn't stop. Victoria Mercer would never approve. But none of that mattered if she faced it with someone who loved her. If she faced it not alone. "When did you get so wise?" she asked. Ollie grinned. "I learned it from you." Lily pulled out her phone and dialed before she could talk herself out of it. Alex answered on the first ring. "Lily? Is everything okay?" "No," she said. "But it will be. Come back. Please, come back and stay." The silence stretched for one heartbeat. Taimu, 2. Then, "I'm already on my way." Alex showed up 20 minutes later, breathless and wild-eyed, still in his suit from work. "I'm here," he said when she opened the door. "I'm here and I'm not leaving, ever. I don't care about the press or my mother or any of it. I only care about you." Lily pulled him inside and kissed him until they were both breathless. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I got scared. I know. I've been scared my whole life." He pressed his forehead to hers. "But I'm done letting fear win. I'm done living like my father wanted. I want to live like Ollie, seeing beauty in strangers, offering love to people who need it, believing that everything will work out." That's a lot of pressure for a 5-year-old philosophy. He's a very wise 5-year-old. They talked for hours that night after Ollie went to sleep. Made plans. Real plans. Alex would hire a security team to keep the paparazzi at bay. Lily would talk to a lawyer about protecting Ollie's privacy. They would take things public on their own terms, control the narrative instead of letting tabloids write it. And my mother, Alex said grimly, will learn to accept you or she won't be part of our lives. Her choice. You'd really cut off your mother for us. I'd cut off anyone who threatens my family. He took her hands. Because that's what you are, Lily. You and Ollie. You're my family, the first real family I've ever had. The next month wasn't easy, but it was worth it. Alex held a press conference announcing his relationship, introducing Lily not as a gold digger, but as the woman who'd saved him. He talked about his father's death, about the darkness he'd been drowning in, about a little boy who'd offered to share his mother with a crying stranger. The internet, predictably, melted. Suddenly, Lily wasn't the gold digger. She was the hero. The single mom who'd opened her heart to a broken billionaire. The headlines flipped overnight. Mercer heir finds true love with Brooklyn angel. Kids at Ollie's school started saying his mom was famous for being nice. Victoria Mercer watched the press conference from her penthouse and called Alex that evening. "You've made yourself a laughingstock," she said. Crying national television, talking about feelings. Your father would be. I don't care what father would think. He's dead, and frankly, I'm glad. The silence on the other end was deafening. I spent my whole life trying to make him proud, Alex continued, and all it got me was alone and miserable. I'm done, Mother. I'm done living his way. I'm going to live mine. And what way is that? With people who actually love me. With a woman who sees me as more than a bank account. With a little boy who taught me that it's okay to be sad, and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to need people. He took a breath. You can be part of that or not. But I'm not changing my mind. Victoria was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was different, smaller, somehow, almost uncertain. Your father was wrong about a lot of things, she said. I was too. I thought leaving would protect you from becoming like us. Instead, it just left you alone. She paused. I'd like to meet her. This woman of yours. And the boy. You'd have to be civil. I can try. Another pause. I'm not good at this, Alexander. Feelings. Family. Your father made sure of that. But I'd like to try. If you'll let me. Alex felt something shift in his chest. Old wounds. Starting to heal. Sunday dinner, he said. Lily makes terrible grilled cheese. You'll love it. For the first time in 30 years, he heard his mother laugh. The dinner was awkward, as expected. Victoria sat in Lily's tiny apartment, designer clothes completely out of place, clearly trying her best not to comment on the chaos. But Ollie, as always, worked his magic. You're Alex's mom? He asked, climbing onto her lap without invitation. I am. Alex was really sad because his daddy was mean to him. Were you mean too, Ollie? Lily looked mortified. But Victoria just smiled, something soft entering her eyes. Yes, she said quietly. I was, but I'm trying to be better. That's good. Trying is important. Ollie nodded seriously. Rex thinks you should have grilled cheese. It makes everything better. And somehow, impossibly, Victoria Mercer ended up eating grilled cheese with a dinosaur-loving 5-year-old on her lap, looking more at peace than Alex had ever seen her. Lily found him in the kitchen, watching with tears in his eyes. Hey, she said softly. You okay? I'm better than okay. He pulled her close. I have everything I never knew I wanted. Funny how that works. Funny how a sad man on a park bench gets found by a boy with a dinosaur and everything changes. He kissed her forehead. Thank you for seeing me. for staying. Thank you for being worth staying for." From the living room, Ollie's voice rang out. "Mom! Alex! Victoria says she wants to learn to paint. Can we teach her?" Lily laughed. "Duty calls." "Always." Alex smiled, and it was the realest smile he'd ever worn. "I wouldn't have it any other way." They walked back to the living room together, hand in hand, to teach a billionaire socialite how to finger paint with a 5-year-old. And somewhere, somehow, everything was exactly as it should be. 1 year later, Alex stood in Central Park, exactly where he'd sat on the worst day of his life. The bench was the same. The trees were the same. But everything else had changed. Ollie ran ahead of them, chasing pigeons with Rex, held high, his laughter echoing across the grass. Lily walked beside Alex, her hand warm in his, her honey blonde hair catching the autumn sunlight. "Do you remember," Alex said, "when you found me here? I remember a man in a very expensive suit crying while a small child offered to share his mother." Lily smiled. "Best decision Ollie ever made. Best decision anyone ever made." Alex stopped walking, turning to face her. "Lily, I need to tell you something. That sounds serious." "It is." He took both her hands. "A year ago I sat on that bench ready to give up. Not on life maybe, but on living. I'd spent 33 years being exactly who my father wanted me to be, and I had nothing to show for it. No love, no reason to come home at night. Alex then, a boy with a dinosaur, sat down next to me and told me I could borrow his mom." Alex's voice cracked. "And his mom let me. She fed me grilled cheese and showed me her paintings and let me read bedtime stories. She gave me a family when I didn't deserve one. You've always deserved one. I didn't know that until you showed me." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. "Lily Harper, you taught me that it's okay to feel things. That love isn't weakness. That home isn't a place, it's people." Lily's hand flew to her mouth. "Oh my God. I know we've only been together a year. I know it's fast. But I've spent my whole life being cautious, being careful, and all it got me was alone." He opened the box, revealing a simple ring with a small diamond surrounded by tiny sapphires. "I don't want to be cautious anymore. I want to be yours. Officially. Permanently. Forever. Alex, will you marry me, Lily? Will you let me be Ollie's dad? Will you let me spend the rest of my life trying to deserve you?" "Mommy," is Alex asking the marriage question? They both turned. Ollie was standing 10 feet away. Rex clutched to his chest, eyes wide with excitement. "Did you know about this?" Lily asked, her voice shaking. "Alex asked my permission." Ollie bounced on his heels. "I said yes, but only if I get to be best man and Rex gets to hold the rings." "Very reasonable terms," Alex agreed. Lily laughed, tears streaming down her face. She looked at the ring, at the man holding it, at her son vibrating with excitement. "Yes," she said. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." Alex slid the ring onto her finger, and Ollie crashed into them both, turning the proposal into a group hug that sent all 3 of them stumbling. "We're a family now!" Ollie cheered. "A real family? Rex, did you hear? We have a dad." Alex held them both, this woman and this boy who had saved him from himself. He thought about his father, cold and distant until the end. He thought about his mother, slowly learning to be present, slowly healing. He thought about all the years he'd wasted being someone he wasn't. And then he let it go, because the past didn't matter anymore. Only this moment. Only these people. Only the family he'd found in the most unexpected place. "I love you," he told Lily. "I love you too, and I love both of you," Ollie added. And Rex loves everyone. This is the best day ever. They walked home together, the three of them, hand in hand in hand. The same path Alex had walked a year ago, broken and alone. Now he walked it whole, surrounded by love, finally understanding what his father never had. That family wasn't about blood or money or status. It was about showing up, about staying, about letting yourself be loved. Ollie looked up at him, grinning his gap-toothed grin. "Hey, Alex." "Yeah, buddy. Remember when you were crying at the park and I said you could borrow my mom?" "I remember." "Well, you don't have to borrow her anymore." Ollie squeezed his hand. "You get to keep her now. And me too. Forever and ever." Alex's eyes burned. He blinked rapidly, trying to keep it together. "Forever and ever," he agreed. Lily leaned into him, warm and solid and real. "Come on, you two. Let's go home." Home. The word meant something now. Something beautiful. Alex Mercer, the coldest CEO in New York, walked into the sunset with his family. The man who'd forgotten how to cry finally remembered how to smile. And somewhere, a little boy's innocent offer echoed through time. "Don't cry, mister. You can borrow my mom." He had, and it had changed everything. The end.